This paper examines the positive impacts of zero waste and minimalistic lifestyle and its role on reversing climate change. Waste and overconsumerism are affecting our ecosystem, ocean waters, land, air, and overall environment. Minimalism and zero waste lifestyle have emerged to reduce waste and to preserve our environment. I argue that these unique lifestyles of minimalism and zero waste on a micro and macro level will reverse global warming by reducing the waste that would otherwise end up on landfills and reduce those greenhouse gas emissions brought by recycling centers, textile companies, and general pollution. By adopting a zero waste and minimalistic lifestyle, there will be less waste on the planet and ultimately a healthier world. Climate change is here. Several environmental changes prove what environmentalists and scientists have written and researched about. The search to protect our environment and human health has been the subject of debate. While policymakers and environmentalists and scientists argue on a solution to reduce the human carbon footprint, otherwise known as the waste left by us, another group of people just like you and I have executed the answer right in their own homes. This group of people are called the zero waste enthusiasts, who have made a voluntary decision of reducing their waste by cutting stuff that would otherwise end up in landfills. And they live a conscious lifestyle in where the object of everyday living is to have zero waste. Another group, the minimalists, have also been in the rise, and unknowingly, they too are protecting the environment from toxins in the air by living minimally, such as reducing the number of clothing, shoes, and living with the minimal items. Consumerism and overproduction are the culprits to air pollution and excessive textile trash among landfills. According to the EPA, in 2015, 10.5 million tons of textile ended on landfills. Textile companies are polluting the environment with dangerous levels of greenhouse emissions. The quest for fast fashion results in unnecessary textile waste, which ends up on landfills. Unfortunately, because the greenhouse emissions regulations are minimal in third world countries, as a result of these expulsions into the air, this has caused workers to suffer from lung cancer, respiratory disease such as asthma, stroke, and heart disease, per the World Health Organization. Reducing carbon footprint on landfills and greenhouse emissions and air pollution can be easily accomplished by adapting a minimalism and zero waste lifestyle. As we make these changes on a micro level, these small changes can develop to a macro change when advocating for a green, sustainable life. In my reflection of this paper, at the beginning of this semester, I was a little bit intimidated in writing this research paper as I felt that I was not creative enough. And I was pleasantly surprised that this actually flowed really easily. And I did a lot of research, including reaching out to the author, an expert on zero waste. So that was pretty interesting that the author was able to answer some of my questions as I did an interview on her. Minimalism is a lifestyle that I started implementing it in my own personal life last year. And through this research, I am now more proud than ever to live this way. What frustrated me about this research process, I think it is that in-text citation, which is still a work in process. And I think just the overall research part, as I would start somewhere and then I would end elsewhere, and I almost felt like I was going all over the place. At one point, I must have had over 19 web pages open at the same time. I had so many examples of how to lead a zero waste lifestyle, and I knew that I couldn't make it all fit in this research paper of 9 pages, which mine actually concluded on page 11. What did I learn about my writing? I learned that I took my time and I carefully selected my choice of words. I also had Merriam-Webster online dictionary, as I wanted to choose the right convincing word. What did I learn about my topic in this research? I discovered more about the textile industry. I was shockingly surprised about the pollutants released by this global textile industry and how they are doing unimaginable harm to the environment, and how the textile industry uses millions of gallons of water every day, and how often the health of others are compromised in the name of fast fashion. Did my views change? No. From this research, I knew that zero waste and minimalistic would have a positive impact. I ended up watching a documentary called The True Cost, which is a documentary film exploring the impact of fashion on people and the planet. And my heart really goes out to those workers who work in those third world countries. One, because they work in such horrible working conditions, and also due to the health implications that we as consumers in the Western area are causing them, such as respiratory infections to cancer. I used a book, The Zero Waste Home by Bea Johnson, for my research. And after reading this book, I started implementing little changes in my household. First, I purchased stainless steel straws instead of plastic straws, because plastic straws will just end up in the landfills or end up in the ocean waters. Then I bought compostable bags and I started composting. I learned, by the way, that you can use an empty gallon of ice cream and store it in your freezer and line it with that compostable bag, and you can drop in your food scraps, coffee filter, and so on. And just recently, I stopped buying makeup remover wipes and I started using just a regular washcloth with an organic face cleaner. Will I continue on my minimalist and zero waste journey? Yes, I am now more empowered as a citizen to reduce my family's waste, and I plan on using this as a learning opportunity for my friends and coworkers, and I hope to be a model of the zero waste and minimalist movement.